Blades. I'm from Northern Kentucky, part owner of the 50 millionth car that you see behind us, the replica of that car. Snodgrass Chevrolet Restoration in Melbourne, Florida built the car, and we have another partner, which is Joe Whitaker of Real Deal Steel in Florida. He supplied the body to the car, and I supplied the research and a lot of the parts for the car. Now this is, again, it's a recreation of the 50 millionth car that General Motors built in November 23rd of 1954. We will try to get it as close to possible as the original. Everything that you see on this car that is gold-plated was gold-plated on the original, and it is actual 24-karat gold plating. Now, anything that you see painted gold was gold on the original car. We went to great lengths to get the details correct on this car. We wanted people to get an idea of what it felt like, 70 years ago to see this car for the first time and get that wow factor. And it's a big part of General Motors history and automotive history. General Motors was celebrating their 50 millionth automobile, and it was a good time in America, in 1954. So General Motors went all out. They had a huge celebration. They called it the Golden Carnival. They had a parade in downtown Flint, Michigan, up Saginaw Street. The car was put on a parade float that morning, and it was an hour-long parade. And just anybody and everybody was there. They had nearly 200,000 people in attendance just at the parade in Flint, Michigan. After that, the car really disappeared. It was never seen again after the parade. We wanted to pay homage to that and create what you see here. I have over 3,000 hours of research into this project, and the things that we've discovered about the original car, and I'll say cars because we discovered that they built 3 of these cars in 1954, and each one was to serve a certain purpose. But again, this is a recreation of the 3rd car, which was the actual 50 millionth car. Now, it is a 1955 Bel Air Sport Coupe. It's powered by a 265 Chevrolet V8, cast iron Powerglide transmission, just as the original was then. A lot of the parts are date coded correctly to the time frame. The front shocks are October 1954 dated. The engine block is a September of 54 dated 265. The details on the car, again, are just, we wanted it to be as right as possible. And with the help of General Motors archives and other private individuals that had photographs, we were able to determine the details of the original car. So, there's no argument of how the original car looked. If you Google the GM 50 millionth car or gold 1955 Chevrolet, there was only maybe a handful of photographs of the original that was ever released to the public. And they always show like a front 3/4 view of the car. They never showed the under hood. They never showed the interior. They never showed the back of the original car. I was always left to imagine for years, I wonder what it was like. So now everybody they can walk up and say, so that's what it looked like. It's a piece of history. It pays homage to a piece of history. Not the original car, but it's the closest thing that we have. And we hope that it's around for years to come, for other people to learn from and learn more history about General Motors and America for that matter. It's been a pleasure to actually build, be a part of this build. And the guys at Snodgrass Chevy Restoration just knocked it out of the park and did a phenomenal job. In case you're wondering, the car took a total of 6 months to build. It was not it didn't take years, it took 6 months. It does have a reproduction body. It does have a reproduction frame. We decided to do that for a couple of reasons. The original 50 millionth car was always slated to be the 50 millionth car. So we didn't want to take an existing 55 Chevrolet Sport Coupe and turn it into something that it wasn't. We decided to go with a new body from Real Deal Steel and a new frame to make our recreation, because this body was always meant to be the 50 millionth car. But there's a lot of original parts on this car. Most all of the stainless inside and out are original GM. The driveline, springs, the heater, the steering column. There's so many parts that are original GM parts on this car. If you've only seen pictures of this car, You really have to see it in person to really get an idea of how spectacular this car is and how amazing it is in person. Because, well, come on. A lot of people will ask what the plating is. Because a lot of people think that it's anodized gold or it's the cheaper spray-on gold that a lot of car lots use. And this is not. All of these trim pieces, the bumpers, the wheel covers, the grille, all of the stainless trim inside and out, and all of its attaching hardware are actual 24 karat gold plated. And at a cost of just a little over $100,000 in just the plating alone. The interior of this car. The interior, nobody knew what the original interior looked like of the 50 millionth car until we were able to find photographs. We were able to find and locate original new old stock fabric that was the same fabric that was used on the 50 millionth car. So everything that you see inside the car, the door panels, the seats, the dash, all of that is just as the original was back in November 23rd, 1954. So this is a very special thing because up until this year, when we debuted the car in Detroit back in March, nobody had a clue what the inside of the car looked like. The back of the car, the same way. A lot of times in restorations, you'll see that they keep the original spare tire sticker on, and the spare tire jacking instructions, and a lot of the decals under the hood. Well, they didn't do that to this car originally, so we didn't do it either. If you look under the car, the underneath of this car is just as amazing as the top. Everything has been slick sanded, as they call it, and painted and cleared to, it is just absolutely spectacular. It's as slick on the bottom as it is on the top. And that's why these guys, they're not afraid to put these cars on mirrors and put lights under them because there's nothing to hide. They even disassembled the leaf springs and slick sanded between the springs. I mean, between the springs are as slick as the rest of it. The interior was done by Ciudadela Interiors in Arizona, which did a fantastic job. The gold plating was done by San Diego Gold Plating out in California. And you can see the job that they did on this. It's just spectacular. The car is just amazing, and it has drawn attention wherever it's gone. But General Motors provided a lot of help with photographs and things like that through their archives, and they've just been great. Without their help, this project just, it would have been a lot harder to do without their photographs. So we definitely appreciate their help as well. Now, the car you can see here at Mecum Indy, it's in the new building here at the Indianapolis State Fairgrounds. The car will go up for sale this coming Saturday, the 18th, probably sometime in the afternoon between 2:30, 4 o'clock. You can watch it on television, watch it on Motor Trend or Velocity. There's no estimated value on the car because, honestly, Mecum nor us, we don't know a value of this car because there's not another one to compare it to. So everybody that's watching is going to be, they're going to find out the same time we do because we just don't know.